Hello? We are now we are now here. It's Wednesday morning. Let's get to this. We are working on Redis Haskell. If you tuned into the last stream, we did a bit of spin the wheel for this to get ourselves here. So now what I've done is I got the bright idea to set up what is it, container, so that we can, because it makes sense to be able to experiment with the actual Redis server to kind of ensure that the 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 functionality we're implementing aligns with the semantics or the behavioral semantics of an actual Redis server. It doesn't necessarily tell us like how things are implemented. We'd have to go into the Redis code base for that, but it does at least tell us that okay, there's parity. When somebody goes to do the same thing on our implementation, there's parity there, which is nice. Can't believe I didn't think of this before, but yeah, I set this up. We can also configure it, put a RDB file here. So if we do some stuff on our server, generate an RDB file, we can, just place that dump file here and, use the official, play with the official Redis, play with an official Redis server using our data, which is cool. And we can also like configuration to set things up and make it work in a certain manner so that we can test and examine certain functionality. So that's cool. Right now we are on, let's see, we're on creating the info command. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Info command is this, basically this beast. Probably won't implement all of these. Like these are just different sections. Think of info command like system fetch. It's just a lot of information about the Redis server. So this is build up to the replication that we're going to be implementing, but there's just a lot of information, a lot of data to put out here. So it should be interesting to try to implement. There's lots of lore too, as you can see. But let's keep on. Where are we? So one thing I do like is that a lot of I have a system set up, engineering, having a sort of framework for these things that makes coming back to it easier because I can always just copy from other implementations. It's nice. It's always nice when you don't have to do everything bespoke from scratch. That's why good architecture is important, or good enough architecture is important. Something that lends itself to whatever domain you're trying to build out. So we have the different. We could have done this runtime, but it's Haskell, so types all the way. Yeah, this is a very interesting function. Basically, it allows you to. It's the inverse. Well, not exactly the inverse because it'll give you back a maybe, but it's the inverse. So instead of having to define the inverse of this manually, I can just use inverse map with this guy and get what I need, which is pretty awesome. Maybe I should probably put so these sections correspond to these sections up here. All defaults, everything. Those are special keywords that we handle downstairs. Um, non-empty because if we get nothing, we can just default it as per default options assumed. Otherwise, if this gives us back an empty list, we could just again go back to the default. So which is nice. Types. So we have default section to show. This is just me. Default. I don't. It doesn't exactly. Still, that's true. I could always just go into the code base and ask. So Redis, GitHub. Man, I really GitHub has just been so terrible of late. I really would like to switch off maybe to GitLab. GitLab has been pretty stable. Ooh, I see people doing stuff on GitLab. I have a friend who makes games and puts them on GitLab, but GitHub is just it's so good. It was so good until all this AI stuff kind of took over. I don't know. It sucks seeing something that you seeing something that you kind of grew up with just deteriorating and getting worse over time. It's never a nice experience. Hope this AI hype cycle dies and we can all go back to proper engineering. And the RAM prices can go down too because Daddy wants a new laptop. I want a new yeah, I want a new framework. I was really excited for the announcement they had yesterday. I didn't tune in for the entire thing, but I like the changes they made to the 16. Though I wish we got the 16 in the color of the 13 Pro. That black color is really nice. Maybe there's some customizations out there that I can um I can I can use. Anyways, but in spite of everything, AI does have its use. Like it's really nice for exploring code bases, I think. Um let's look for info, the code for the info command. It's gotta be somewhere. Gotta be somewhere. Hold up, JSON. Um, so, yeah, GitHub Copilot it would be really good in this context just to understand because I don't know C. I'd like to learn C, but I don't know C at this point. So figuring out where stuff is can be a bit of a hassle. Let's chat with Copilot. Got it. These are all from my blog. Um, 5.4. Sonnet's Opus 4.6 is the best. Do not use 4.7. 4.7 sucks. Okay, so Redis. Redis. Yeah, Redis. Where can I find the code for the info command? It's also good for like doing searches if you want to find the way people have done certain things. You can use GitHub Copilot to kind of figure that out, which is really cool. Let's see. The main implementation for this info command is serves specifically the function get gen. Okay. String uptime, everything, all sections. Okay. Server log raw is shut down. Server log, existing child. What was what function? Gen Redis info string. Gen Redis. Yeah, this is what we want. Info string. I actually prefer it if we were not on unstable, but on V0, V7 branch. Yeah, 7 because that's the version we are on. Though let's go to the registry and see what other versions they are. 7.4. Okay, 7.48. Yeah, let's use 7.4. So we'll program against that version. That where's our Docker compose here? 7.4. Is there an Alpine? No. What the hell does a bookworm mean? Hmm, let's ask. What does bookworm mean to images? The names are always so like abstract, obtuse. What do they mean? There should be like a tooltip or something that explains what those those names mean. Yeah, it describes the base operating system layer, not Redis itself. So, what means Redis built on top of uh, Alpine. The choice matters by image size, bookmark is there, so which is usually more private file. So you're not using bookmark if you want to replace bookmark Alpine. Okay. What about? We can just actually we can just check that. I can just verify that information. Abilities, packages, Golang, standard lib. Okay, so what do we do? We environment. So we use Debian. Then we go to bookworm. What do we see? Golang, a lot. Okay. Since we see 133 packages versus the same number. Hmm. There seems to be a vulnerability here and a vulnerability here for 7. What's the image size? I suppose that would be interesting information. Image compressed size about 43.4. Okay, okay, we can see the sizes. Size wise, they seem the same. Vulnerability wise, they seem the same. Which is preferred? Doubt either one is preferred or ideal. But let's see. Ooh, uh, uh, uh. Hmm. Usually surprising. Okay, choice. Sure, let's use bookworm. Say what you want about AI, but it's really useful for learning stuff because it just has all the information. It's able to disseminate that information in a manner that you know you're able to have it disseminate that information in a manner that speaks to you best in the best possible way, which I like. Uh, I do still hate that RAM prices are still so high, but yeah, give and take, give and take, people, give and take. What am I looking for now? Server gen Redis infrastructure. Okay, so we do dict it. C just feels like such a mangled language. God. Okay, gen info string for command stats, gen info string latency stats, add info sections to dict, release info. mm, Create a dictionary with unique sections. Okay, gen based by gen info string. Okay, default sections are server, client, memory, persistent stats, application, CPU, module list, error stat, cluster, key space. I see. Now, what do I have listed? I have server, client, memory, persistent. What the hell are stats? Stats aren't listed. Oh fuck, they are. Oh, okay. Stats, what's that? Stats. Application, CPU, module list. Is module list a part of that? Modules, no. That's probably modules. Error stats, cluster, key space. Hmm, okay. Since that, CPU. Only we aren't adding module list error stats. I'm probably not going to implement module list and error stats and cluster. Everything else seems good, seems legit. Now here we're saying since everything in default is special keywords, we're saying universe just says enumerate all the elements in the set, um, probably in order from server to everything. You just filter out those guys, and we process to say, okay, if it's all, then just use this all sections that can be shown. Everything's same, default sections to show. Otherwise, just give us back because when we get a bulk string, a list of bulk strings. If no, nothing, yeah. So we then go, go through the bulk strings and say, okay, map maybe if it's a null bulk string, nothing of course. If it's a bulk string, then we UTF-8 from arbitrary bytes to UTF-8. Then we try to, reverse render that into like server, client, and all that. So I wonder if we did an inverse map. I like being able to do this. With an inverse map render of say server. Will that evaluate? Oh fuck. I see. I see. Damn it. If we do, well, it's all lowercase, so I guess we could just do t dot to lower text. Yeah. Okay. So now it's server. If we say server, fuck. I mean, okay, we did add the yeah t dot to lower. Okay, yeah, nice, nice. Server. Yep, works. Server. Okay, what about command stats? Fresh, nice, command stats. Yep. Okay, cool. So that works. Get back the right thing. This is coming from, I think. We got this from Reload. Shout out to Reload. I don't think that makes sense, but okay. So we know the sections that we want to render. Now we have to get that in. The plan is to get that for each section, get all the information, then render all of that. Um, pass it across the network. Redis, this is an effect for doing network communicating over the TCP connection. Probably should rename that into something else, but processor now we want to we have this list of info command section. We should probably use a vector here, but fuck it, it doesn't matter. List is bounded anyways. The maximum can be is all sections that can be shown. So we have this list. So we want to map to the listed, or yeah, map to the list, turn it into a list of tuples of the section and the data. So now what we need is to say gen info command section data. Take info command section and return us what? Info command section data. For now, let us, um, let us data equals to just, let's just make it, server data, um, server info unit client info unit. Or can we just see any here as a placeholder? But then this would just be server. What is this? Works in accompanying binding. Server is still defined until we just have the functions. And we'll need to wrap for now placeholder to do mm, elaborate on this. So something we can just do like server info data for now. Just make that any all you want. Server info data on it. We have that client, so we'll have to do this for all of them. Memory. Now the plan is to define the functions that will go in here in their own separate modules. So we have this info directory, subdirectory, info.server. We have module redis commands.info.server. See how that beautiful module name. I don't think we need this. But now we want to get all the information pertaining to server, which is what? This is where having a local thing becomes handy. We could just do docker compose up dash d redis, and it will pull the image, start it up, and we could just do redis CLI info server, see what it returns. Instant documentation. See what it returns. Redis git git dirty, build ID, mode, OS, architecture, monotonic clock, POSIX clock, get time, multiplexing API, EPOL, atomic, var API, I have no idea what that means, GCC version, process ID, sure, run ID. Where did they get all those things from? Well, let's go into the code base and figure that out then, shall we? Take it step by step. I think though what they want us to implement here is just replication. Yeah. So let's do server, memory, and replication first. Uh, let's see how Redis does that. So say cached. In the case we know the dict is not going to be one time we cache it. That's an object case. Makes sense to cache. Otherwise, create default. Oh, no default. Okay. Let's see what that does. Takes a normal session. Awesome. So it takes. Okay. And where exactly do we? Where exactly do we? Add the actual data. Okay, this creates a dictionary. Okay, so we have info stream. Okay. So like, where is this called? That's the definition. Where is this called? Yeah, this is called where? Ooh, doggy, doggy. There's a big ass bumble clots. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bumble clot. Bumble clot. Okay, so we have all sections. Server static. Look at what they must do to mimic a fraction of our power. Okay, so Redis version, Redis git jar 30. We'll just default these to 0 to 0. Build ID string mode. Can we have that? Those OS stuff. Arc-bit monotonic info string. Well, yeah. Okay, let's give this a shot then, shall we? We will be using a record instead. So data server info. Push to server info. Where Redis version equals to version. It's just going to be a string, just a text. Redis git share one. That's just also going to be, what's the type of this? What's the return type of that? Is that char? Yes, it does return text, I think. Oh shit. Data dot text qualified st. So no. All right, let's keep going. Redis gets dirty. Oh, so is that text string to str to it's Xcode pilot? What does this mean? What is the return type? It's probably an integer, but that's too long. Oh, to type of say to long. What's the equivalent of a long in Haskell? Long is okay. What is probably an int? Um, so we go from this is 30. This gives us back a char. Gives us back a char. But this is all in all, it's a boolean. Let us get dirty. Bool. This will always be false because, yeah. Redis build ID. Redis build ID. I have no idea where they get this, so I'll have to look into it. Text, probably a char. Yeah, so the return type is just char. Mode is it's a char too. Redis mode. Text as well. OS. mm, Just those are probably strings, but what? Just to confirm, what is the return type? Uh, what? No, what is the type? Mm, name dot sysname. Name dot release and name dot machine. I assume they are all strings. So OS text um, architecture bits. It's gonna just be a word. Word 8 specifically. Um, I know. We could make this. We can make that a bit more type safe. Say data arc bits equals to 32 or 64. Arc bits. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. 32 bits, 65 bits. Um, data. I see no problem here, bro. Why though? Mm-hmm. Okay, sure, whatever. Oh, arc bits. Um, monotonic, monotonic clock. Output. That's probably gonna be string. Mm-hmm. Damn, there's a lot of this shit. Multiplex and API. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Atomic. API. Text. GCC version. Next. Well, I think I'll make this GHC version instead. Uh, GHC instead of GCC because this is Haskell, bitch. Process ID. Probably what's this? Return type for get. I think int64. Int64 get PI. So that'll just be an int. Well, I guess 64-bit int. Mm-hmm. 64-bit signed integer. Well, process ID can um, never be negative. So for 64 binary import data.word word 64 process ID. What I do? Ports, okay. So for you uptime, uptime. Got to keep track of the uptime. So we need to keep track of when the server was started up so that we can grab that uptime. Okay. Where do we put that? Uh, we can just put that as metrics in the context. I have to go on my day. The only reason that I got my escape to all my travelers. Okay. It's a character array. Uses a string. So let's just have that be user ID. Yeah, text. TCP port. String. Server port. C16. They should have come up with a better name than Word, in my opinion. But hey, server time. You said server time. Yeah, sec. Yeah, for 6 time, I think. Mm, game time. Makes sense. Mm, HC configured. Oh boy. Let's take a quick break here. We are back. We're back, everyone. Let's lock this in. Oh, it's locked in. Lock in. Right. Uh, So where are we? What does this mean? What does mm, 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 server current cached time? What is it? Why cached? Awesome. Planning is current server time, unit microsecond reference point. What is cache time? What is it cached? How does it differ from uptime? Yeah, does it calls? I see. Oh, no, 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 no. Lots of optimizations in Redis. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Dun, dun. Mhm, 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 mhm. Clarity with the waves. But damn, you've crossed up. You take a cache value. We'll say the aging there is to store the current time. This is not needed. This function should be fast, but wow. So, oh, mm, 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 mm. Is it? No, okay. Oh, I see. I see. What time is it now? That makes sense. Microseconds. I see. So, Unix timestamp at microseconds session should suffice for server time check. Unix timestamp in microseconds precision. Okay, so nanosense approach to seconds. Okay, from seconds, then we can convert to get the current time, UTC time to POSIX seconds. Okay, then nominal diff time to seconds. Then we convert that. So As a ripple become a tidal wave, when does a man become a star? Epoch time. Just need- Why not use this? All I'll do is open this bag. Epoch time. Number of seconds. Shit. Okay, fuck it. Let's just keep it as time. Mm, 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 mm. Uptime in seconds. That should be good enough. What does HC mean? Does I know waiting for his life. And I know to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. Manuel. Ground frequency. How many times per second? Well, that's wrong. Let's put it back in. I see. Monster. Kind of effective. Well, we don't have that, so. As a power become a meteor, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Go to my Spotify. Okay, look at my people and they love what I become. Amazing tree, watch them run. I'm a storyline of Simba as he watched the rising sun. Living prophecy is making them come. Oh, back me. Will I ski queen by my side from my family? The future fallen nice and we are young, 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 young. Just being young, 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 kingdom come. How many times per second? I'd have it as a word. I know my nightmares. I'm conquering my dreams with one. Well, let's just keep going. Kingdom come. Oh shit, this is. Yeah. Kingdom come. Finally, the angels afraid of number one. Asking me where I'm from. Where are you, clock? Storyline of Simba as we watch the rising sun. And the future falling place where we are young. Kingdom come. So small. They will never have fallen on my nightmares. What about are you clock? Is for eviction. I see. Well, I do not have a clock, so I shall instead just zero that out. Are your threads active? I reckon. Are your threads active as a hint? Uh, done, sorry. 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 What the fuck? me. Yeah. Mm, Don't. Is that a boolean? So it's a boolean. The fuck? Thread active. Just default. Default to true. I wonder why. Feel me, feel me, feel me, feel me, feel me, feel me. I listen to Kid again. Oh. Oh. Need your light. I was string here. It tells you to. What more type notation? So, I feel your back in my soul. Oh. Mm, mm. Does process ID change? Well, ID still the same. Oh, where is it? Is it the same? F94, F94, BDD, BDD, 122, BF, yeah. Oh, process ID. What happened to your life? Took away life. I said, took away the vibe. What happened to you? I spent it on my palm. I don't really care if I fall. I don't really care if I fall. atomic var API and multiplexing API. I'm learning again. I can do anything all my life. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, this means event loop backend is used. Uh, okay, what? Atomic. How we use, I think. Should. Yeah, I need to just document all this. To do document the meaning. Document the meaning of non-obvious fields. I think let's end it for here for today. Like Cersei's it's not to be messed with. It was a lot. All right, that's it for today. Pretty short.